Hello my friends, it is me, Militant Ginger. It is October the 11th, 2018. I am very happy to be with you today. You might notice I'm a lot perkier than I was in my last video. And that's actually why I wanted to make this video. It was very important to me. Now, I tried making it yesterday and it didn't quite work out as well, as you can see. Hello my friends, it is me, Militant Ginger. Oh, yesterday was World Mental Health Day, and it was interesting because a lot of people were talking about various mental health issues they had and struggles they'd had and things like that. And to me, yesterday was interesting because it was a day when a lot of the stuff that I didn't even realize that I'd been dealing with kind of came to a head, and it was kind of appropriate that it was Mental Health Day. Let me tell you about it. So, the last video I made, I was basically struggling. I was feeling really overwhelmed. My life had changed in really good ways, and I had been writing books and they'd become very successful, and it looked like I was finally going to be able to achieve my life's ambition and become a writer full-time. And I say looks like, I mean, that's still the plan, still going ahead. But I was feeling really overwhelmed in that video. It was kind of like everything had come right. How come I just feel so stretched thin, like everything is gonna snap? And it was a real struggle for me. And yesterday, which happened to coincide with World Mental Health Day, was when everything started to come right. And it was kind of interesting why it came right. And it was kind of appropriate that it happened to be on that particular day. So, let me tell you the whole story of everything to do with this and where it relates to sort of World Mental Health Day and stuff like that. So, about this time last year, in 2017, my eldest son, had been diagnosed with ADHD, and every time we would go to the doctor to talk to him about it, the doctor would go on about, you know, these are the struggles that he has. You know, he has like hyperfocus, or he has inability to focus on things. He's very emotionally, all his emotions overwhelm him. It's difficult for him to sort of make relations and things like this. And every time the doctor was talking about these things, I was like, this sounds like me. It sounds really vividly like me. And so this time last year, I went to the same psychiatrist group that my son goes to, and I was like, you know what? You're talking a lot about this. I realized that, you know, at the point I was nearly 40 years old, but I think I might have this ADHD thing as well. And the doctor put me on a type of medication called Vyvanse. And it changed my life. It was amazing. I remember vividly the first day I took the medication. It takes about an hour and a half to kick in, so I took it, everything was going fine. Then I was walking down the stairs to get the kids on the bus, and I stopped and I was like, oh my God. I realized I didn't have a headache for the first time in as long as I could remember. And the weird thing about that is I didn't remember having a headache. I didn't realize that I'd had a headache for as long as I could possibly remember. But I did, and I took this medication, and suddenly for the first time in as long as I could remember, I didn't have a headache. And my emotions weren't like bubbling up under the surface, and I could focus on things. I remember I've been procrastinating for weeks and weeks about doing some blogging projects that I had to do, and I just sat down and like banged them out in 3 hours. So it was amazing. It was amazing. And it changed my life. And I think so much of what I have achieved since that happened was because of the fact that I was on this medication. It's not all roses, and I will go into that in a second. But anyway, how does this relate to my last video where I was really struggling? As you know, I managed to finally crack the writing business. And in July I had an amazing month writing, and of course you didn't get paid until the end of September. So that meant for 2 months, August and September, we were down to the wire in terms of money. And it was the toughest 2 months of my life. I was really struggling like you would not believe. And one of the struggles we had with that is, I normally would go back to my psychiatrist every month or so and get a refill of this Vyvanse medication, and I couldn't afford the co-pays because in America you have the American healthcare system where you have to sort of pay a significant amount to go to the doctor every month. So I had not thought in my head that was going to be an issue, because my medication regimen, I would take a Vyvanse in the morning and then they give me a little top-up pill in the afternoon based on something called Adderall, and I basically had not been taking the Adderall. I've been hoarding it up for like 3 months because I know you build up quite a tolerance to stimulants quite quickly. So I was like, if I don't feel like I need to take them, I won't take them. So I was like, screw it. Can't afford to go to the doctor, that's fine. I hoarded up all this medication, I'll just use that instead of my Vyvanse. Thinking that I was clever, right? But the thing is that they're not the same medication. They're very, very similar, but they're not quite the same medication. So for 2 months, I was using that instead of the Vyvanse, and I had thought in my head that was doing the trick. And to a certain extent it had, but it's kind of like pouring paraffin into a gasoline car. It's not how it's meant to work. And I think everything came to a head, and I was really cracking up, because I finally went back to the psychiatrist this week and got my regular Vyvanse, and I took that for the first time yesterday, and it was like the first time I'd ever taken it. I woke up and I took the pill, and then a couple of hours later I was like, oh my god, headache's gone, level set, everything is different. And it was like the feeling of being overwhelmed just melted from me, and I was like, I've got this, I can do all this stuff, no worries. And it was ironic that it all happened on World Mental Health Day, because I realized this is not a huge mental health issue, but it was one that I hadn't even realized that I had to deal with myself. It's starting to rain. I'm going to wrap this video up pretty quickly. Long story short, one of the many things that has now continued to start becoming right has started to come right. Now I am on the right type of medication again, and that feeling of being overwhelmed, that feeling of just like the crushing inability to cope has gone, and I feel so much better, so much more able to embrace things and carry on. It's not all rainbows, I will say. One of the really interesting things about Vyvanse is it really helps with me being able to like put all of my to-do list into like a Tetris style row in my head so I can get rid of them. And it makes you very good at doing like prescriptive, rational tasks. It kind of kills your creativity. And it was funny, I'm wondering like the reason I was suddenly super successful with my writing was because I was taking the wrong type of medication. And so all of that creativity was coming up the surface. So now I'm like, oh my god, what do you do? Do you embrace the creativity that makes you successful, or do you embrace the way that your brain works in which you can do all the stuff that you need to do? And it's difficult and a challenge to come up with the two. But there we go. But all I can say is, thanks to the way writing works, that you publish your book and you get your money coming in and you get paid 6 days in advance. I have I have at least 1 month to kind of get my head together around this. So I need to focus very much on writing and publishing and see how this medication actually impacts my creativity. But I finally feel like I'm not cracking up, like I'm not being pulled apart. And that being said, it's not just a case of like my mental perception. Other things that turned out. I found that I've become a lot more confident about expressing myself, and so one of the things was, I was getting pulled apart because I had all of these other people trying to ask me to do other things that weren't involved in my writing, and to some of them I just pushed back and I said, you know what, I can't do this because me doing this for you means I can't do my own writing, and that is going to hurt me. And the ability to say no is something I was never very good at before in the past, and I've definitely learned and embraced that a lot more. It's funny, Warren Buffett said, every successful entrepreneur in the entire world, one thing that they've mastered is the ability to say no. But the second thing, there's someone else I work with who's a writer, a very talented writer, and I help him work with his stuff. And he was very, very ambitious and had a very, very ambitious schedule, and more freaking power to him. But I was doing some editing for him, and his ambitious schedule moved on to me, and I was kind of like, I'm not going to be able to cope with this. I'm not going to be able to work at his pace and be able to do my own stuff. And it was funny. It was this law of attraction thing where everything fell into place, because he was like, you know what, I can't keep up this pace. Let's slow it down a bit. And I'm like, if you slow it down a bit, then I can cope with your stuff and I can do my stuff, and everything's going to work. I don't know. It was like the perfect storm. Everything seemed to come together, and it was almost like going back to the original medication I was supposed to be on was kind of a catalyst. But everything came together, and it stopped feeling like it was tearing me apart. And so I'm just in a much, much better place. I mean, I will admit today I'm stressing out a bit, because I've been on top of a lot of things that I needed to do, but I still haven't done any writing today. So I need to go and embrace that. And I'm running out of time, but I have time, and I have a goal, and I have a mission, and I know what to do, and I just finally feel like maybe I'm on top of things for once. So we'll see. Rabbited on for nearly 12 minutes in this video and not necessarily said anything, but the TLDR, the too long didn't read, is I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. Things are moving in the right direction. Life is like a very carefully balanced puzzle, and sometimes you could have one small thing that is throwing you off kilter, and it just throws the whole equation out of whack. And to me, I think to a certain extent it was the medication. Now I've got that sorted, I think I'm going to be able to sort myself out a lot better. Not out of the woods yet, but at least I can see the edge of the woods. And so I am heading there at as fast a crack as I can. And I'm really excited. I mean, as I said before, it's amazing. I have the opportunity to do what I've wanted to do since I was a kid. And it's just a case of doing it. So anyway, thank you for listening to my rambling video. I will catch up with you again soon. I've got quite a few videos I kind of want to make. I want to make some videos about some other stuff that really helped me like get my shit together during the summer. And I really want to make videos about how I am managing to stay consistent and committed to the creative part, to the writing thing, because that is what is so important. And the problem with life is that you get pulled in so many directions. Other people want things from you. And yeah, that quote from Warren Buffett about sometimes you need to say no, it really resonates with me. It really resonates with me, because now is the time to say no, more than ever. But those are all conversations to have at a later date. Until then, take it easy. I will catch up with you again soon. Ciao.